Sue Elliott.
And I'm Ed Holen. Welcome to this wrap-up edition of the Olympia Insider for 2016.
You know, when we started out at the beginning of this short session, we had some ideas of what we wanted to go forward with, but never did we think we'd have as many bills and budget items to testify on.
In fact, at the height of the session, we had 41 pieces of legislation that we were working on. And depending on how you count it, we were successful on 12 of them. Most passed, a couple died, which was a good thing because they weren't great bills.
Right.
But we had a wonderful session, I think.
I do too. One of our best. One of the things that was passed this year that we've been trying to get passed since 1995, so you have to be persistent sometimes, is we're going to get a DD Ombuds program.
Statewide program to add some protections to people for people that really need some additional supports.
And as a part of that bill and budget, we're also going to, the DDA is going to get some additional case managers so that they can go out and visit people more often to make sure that they're okay.
We were also successful in creating the ABLE program to be implemented in our state, a program that will enable people to save up for the future. We were also successful in getting the parent-to-parent program put into statute and many other pieces of legislation that made progress.
We were just thrilled, and we couldn't have done it without you, because you take the time to contact your legislator during session, and then now you can go to them this summer during their campaign and talk with them about what you and your family might need.
This was also a supplemental budget session, and there was a budget passed, although the legislature had to work into overtime to get it done. But that budget is passed, and several of the bills that were successful have funding in the budget.
One of the additional things that we got funding for was the overtime for individual providers, which is going to be really important. Difficult for the department to implement, but really important for providers. And then the one thing that we did not get, and we testified on, and we're going to have to work again this summer and next session on, is the residential service providers' wages. We have to, it's critical that we have to get those funded.
We're extremely disappointed that nothing was done this legislative session with employee wages and supported living. In Seattle and in Tacoma, we're now funded below the mandated minimum wage, so it's a huge issue for us and is just going to only make turnover worse in their industry.
Going forward, there's still funding left over from last year's budget to fund additional people. So if you need respite care, if you're on the no paid services waiting list, feel free to contact the DD administration and request services.
And here are how other advocates feel about this session.
Oh, I'm so pleased that the parent-to-parent bill passed and that the governor signed it into law. And the parent-to-parent is how I got involved in advocacy and has helped so many families and support from birth to 3 and onward. So to be able to have that statewide is fantastic.
Yes, we're really excited about having a developmental disability ombudsman now. We've been working on that since 1997, so we're excited to have that in place. It's Senator O'Bannon's bill that made this happen, but we also have near fatality reviews, which we haven't had before. So if someone is vulnerable in the community and they are abused and injured and they don't pass away, we now have some protections in place to have some reviews looking at those situations. And when we're talking about the most vulnerable people in our community, we now have case resource managers in place, making our case manager ratios be 50-1. So that's going to help us to really be able to address needs better in the community and keep people safe.
Well, one of the really great things that passed, after 5 years, we've been working on the Toxic Free Kids and Families Act, which eliminates 5 flame retardants that had been being used in kids' furniture, like baby, changing tables, that kind of thing, as well as the furniture we have in our home, the couches and chairs, and even in the office, all of our chairs typically have flame retardants in them. And this year they banned the first 5 chemicals that we've been working on. We are the first state in the nation on one of those chemicals. And so that's a great thing to finally see this go through. And next year we are going to tackle the next 6 that are on the list.
I'm really happy to see the Down syndrome resource bill pass this session. When my daughter was born 28 years ago, I was given no information. The doctor came in and patted me on the back and said, "Good luck with that." And so I was really lost, and I was afraid, but so I didn't know what to expect or had no support. And so I'm so happy to see that families now will get good information so they can learn about what Down syndrome is and what it's not based on myth, but on good scientific information. And families can make informed choices and can learn about the positive things that people with Down syndrome bring to our world.
I'm very happy and proud to have this bill that's in our state law now in Washington State that would give great resources for people and parents about Down syndrome. And then also for the ABLE Act bill that also went through is a great way in saving money and how we could have money when we desperately need it.
And remember,
Change is made by those who show up.